Good morning, everyone. Last week, what you did was you started taking notes on was Sumer a civilization using the grapes organizer. So you went through this information here where you read the introduction, you looked at the standard of and then took a look at these different aspects of civilization. And then the direction was to go through and take notes on the grape organizer for each section. Today, what you are going to be doing is both finishing the notes through the end, which goes to section, let's take a look here, section 5-10, which is the chapter summary. So you really should have gotten through at least 5.5 for today. And now what you're going to be doing is continuing to take notes as I am going to take a look at a couple of the examples here so that you can add to your notes. So we're going to start with geography coming from the stable food supply. Some things that you should have for geography. And I bullet pointed these here. If you have them more together, like if you pulled out specific sentences from the text, that is fine. It is just important to have this information down. So Mesopotamia, which is called the land, or the name of it is the land between two rivers. It's located in modern day Iraq, in the area of modern day Iraq. It includes the Tigris and the Euphrates River. We talked a little bit about this when we went over the problem and solution organizer, how there's two rivers that come together, and that was where some of the problems came about in the ancient world as far as what they needed to do to control the water that was coming from the rivers. It is considered the Fertile Crescent, fertile being good for agriculture. It's in Southeastern Asia. We talked about it being in the Middle East, on the continent of Asia. Ways in which people get food: fishing, grazed livestock. There's wide, fertile plains. It is a river valley. Also, some of the resources that they have are gold, copper, tin, lead, bronze, and silver. There's hot summers with little rain, and there's rivers that flooded. So that is some of the geographic information that you should have down from the reading that you did. Taking a look at the next section, which is social structure, you definitely want to have in there this word status or importance. And let me go down to my social structure section. So for Mesopotamia, I set it up showing that it includes different jobs and social levels. Higher levels have greater status. Here in the upper class, you have priests, landowners, government officials. This upper class of people lived near the center of the city in large, luxurious homes. Often they could be two-story homes. So that's the upper class. The middle or common class included the merchants, craftspeople, highly skilled metal workers, gold, silver, tin, lead, copper, and bronze. So those are the metals that those metal workers are using, and they're providing products to this upper class of people. Some of those items include swords, arrowheads, plows, hoes for farmers, mirrors, and jewelry for the upper class. So the upper class of people are going to be privy to the better material items. The common class was farmers and fishermen. They lived in small brick houses at the edge of the city. They were forced into the army at times of war. So the upper class could force them, or the government officials could force them to be part of that army. And then you have the slave class of people. They lived in their owners' homes, and they did not own any property of their own. So that is what you should have for social structure, and that comes right from the section in the text about social structure. All of that information is directly from the textbook. I'll leave it there for a minute. So this would be a place where if you're watching my video right now, you would pause and you would make sure that you have all of this information on your graphic organizer. The last piece that I'm going to go over for today is the government. And the government is under politics, or the political system. And politics or government is described as a system to direct people's behavior and make life orderly. So these city-states that we talked about last week were ruled by powerful kings. Sumerians, because gods and government were connected, believed the kings were chosen by the gods to rule in their place. So they were very powerful. What the kings did was they enforced laws, collected taxes, they built and maintained, or they built temples, maintained the irrigation systems. So it was their job. We talked about that last week with the problem and solution, where they created these levees and these irrigation systems, and then they had to form communities in order to take care of these, and then also protect them from outside invaders. So the king is the one that's going to oversee all of that work and organization of the communities. The army was under the government, and you had both professional and temporary citizen soldiers. You had foot soldiers, and then you also had some that drove chariots, which are wheeled vehicles pulled by horses. The wheel being an invention of the Sumerians, so that was a technological advance during this time. Governors were under the kings. They ruled over outlying towns. So you had the king at the top, and then you had a governor. Similar to how in, say, Connecticut, you have a governor that is in charge of Connecticut, and then you either have a mayor or a select person to rule over the different towns and cities. So there's different levels within the government. You have people called scribes, this word here, who were the writers that helped to record the laws. So they're working for the government officials. And here we have these people who were advanced in the fact that they were the first to develop a system of written laws. Something that we want to take a look at here is the word history versus prehistory. I'm just going to add these in because this is important. Prehistory means before written records, and history is just written records. Anytime we're talking about prehistoric people, we're talking about before there was written record of those people. So we were really just using artifacts to learn about them, whereas written records, we can go back and read and analyze what was happening because it was written down. Prehistoric is more of observations and hypothesis about what was happening based on what you're finding, because nothing was written down. There was no written language. Again, what you should be doing at this point is stopping the video and making sure you have this information recorded. From here, what you should be doing is going into the text and finishing the last 3 sections, starting with religion 5.6, reading and taking notes on your graphic organizer, filling it out so that you are able to review it at the next class period. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Mr. Carco. Thank you.